One day, as the world depression deepens, people wake up to find the government has granted itself extraordinary powers due to an emergency. Freedom of movement, freedom of assembly, freedom of speech are gone. Censorship is ruthlessly enforced. Questioning the government or its actions is forbidden. This government works with a US-led company to track everyone in the country. This was Germany in 1933, and you don't have to look hard to see the same thing happening today. History does not repeat, but it does rhyme. And if we don't learn from history, we're doomed to relearn it the hard way. In the trials after the war, the Germans were charged for state crimes against democracy. Politicians, press, police, public servants, military personnel were all guilty, and I was just doing what I was told was not an excuse. They say that the tracking and surveillance is for our safety. But the Germans were told this also. Who will watch the watchers? Who guards against the state crimes against democracy? We, the people. They say that they need to read everything that we do on the internet to catch the pedophiles. We say, why do powerful pedophiles walk from the highest courts in the land? Why then has a police report that names 28 high-ranking politicians, judges and lawyers as suspected pedophiles been made secret by the Royal Commission for the next 90 years? Who watches the watchers? Who guards against the state crimes against democracy? We, the people. They say you don't need encryption if you have nothing to hide. We say you don't need to spy on me if I have nothing to hide from. Yeah. Who watches the watchers? Who guards against state crimes against democracy? We, the people. They say trust us with secret courts, secret cabinets, secret police, black budgets and unlimited surveillance powers. We say, do I look like I was born yesterday? Yeah. I know I have nothing to hide. What are you up to? First they removed the means of free speech. Your videos are pulled from the internet and your posts are blocked. All messages are read. Everything you send. All calls on the phone listened to. All speech in public monitored. Then they make speech a crime. No criticism is allowed, no dissent. No one will hold them to account or oppose them. Who watches the watchers? Who guards against state crime against democracy? We, the people. When this is done, will you stand there and say, I was just doing what I was told? Or will you stand and say, I did what I knew was right? Now, we don't face the erosion of our liberty, of free speech, of freedom of assembly, of freedom of movement, of freedom of association, and of freedom of thought. No, today we face the removal of those liberties, and with them our ability to guard against state crimes against democracy. We, the people, must have freedom to think and to speak according to our conscience.
Yes.
We watch the watchers.
Yes.
We guard against state crimes against democracy.
Yes.
It is your duty as a citizen of a democracy to use the Signal app to encrypt your calls and use disappearing messages. It is your duty as a citizen of a democracy to use end-to-end encryption on mobile. It is your duty as a citizen of a democracy to use Proton email service and the Proton VPNs. It is your duty as a citizen of a democracy to use Tor browser. You have nothing to hide. And if the state can be trusted, then you have nothing to hide from either. It is your civic duty to watch the watchers. It is your civic duty to guard against the state crimes against democracy. It is your duty to demand, to use, and to defend encryption that cannot be perverted by state crimes against democracy. And it is the duty of the state to protect that. History does not repeat, but it does rhyme. We woke up today in a world that looks like the world that led to some of the biggest state crimes against democracy of the 20th century. It is up to us to make sure that they are not repeated. Use encryption now. In closing, I want to be clear. This is not to compare our government to the 20th century government of Germany. It is a statement of a key lesson of that century. In a democracy, it is your duty to detect, to resist a slide into state crimes against democracy. We do this by securing our democracy from within. Use encryption now. Let me say that again. Use encryption now. If you only take one thing away from today, use encryption now. Thank you.